Hello and welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, and in this video it's actually kind of a continuation of the previous video. We're talking about do people see and interact with the same things, or is perception different for different people in existence in reality? And I think this will be a short video because I just want to put down my perspective and see what you guys think. And this is because in the previous video I forgot to address the point by Michael Cush, in reference to basically, like, if you go to the market and you see a bunch of Granny Smith apples, but your friend likes Macintosh apples, your friend will perceive Macintosh apples and you'll perceive Granny Smith apples. I've heard this argument a lot proposed throughout my life, and I remember having a debate about this when I was like the ripe age of 8 years old with like my brother's girlfriend, and she must have been like 22 or something, and she was arguing that how do we know that the color red is the color red for you? Maybe it's the color blue, and there's no way to prove what somebody else's perception is. And as a 8-9-year-old metaphysical debater back then, I was arguing that it's not the case, and I'm going to present the same argument now today, 8-9 years old. I mean, I'm almost 14 years old now, so this was like 5 years ago that I brought all that up. I'm surprised I remember it. No, I'm just kidding. So before we jump into that, though, you're all watching Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, where we tackle these kinds of issues. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Check to make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube likes to unsubscribe people now. Like the video and share the video, or else this channel will never grow. And it's very difficult as it is to get people to come to a channel that's basically not promoted by YouTube. So any help by people who want to keep these topics relevant is always appreciated. All right, so to continue. So again, what Mikhail asked was, if two people go shopping together in an astral market and stop at a fruit stand, I might pick up an apple from a stack that to me appears like to be a pile of Granny Smiths, because that's what I like, but my fellow astral shopper might see Macintoshes, their own favorite. I don't believe that this really happens like people think it happens. So to use the example of colors, the reason is that we can obtain an objective analysis of the world around us, and then this affects our opinions and perceptions. Let's say for somebody, the color red looks like the color brown. And then a girl comes out in a red dress, and then one person says, what a brilliant, shining dress you wear. The person who sees red as brown says, what a kind of, that dress isn't bright enough. It's too earthy. It's too muted. You should wear something like, that's flashy, like blue. And if someone said this, we would think, well, this individual must be colorblind, because people who are colorblind will see red as brown, and then there's a diagnosis for that, right? So as a result of that, everybody can objectively tell that their perception is different from everybody else's, and it affects their value judgments. So this argument that everything around us is subjective, I think we're going back into possibly some form of solipsism. We're going kind of into Anthony Peake territory, that existence is just tailored for every individual and nobody else's existences matter. It's also, solipsism like this, when it gets out of control, it's kind of like existence and the universe for sociopaths, because then you can tell yourself that nobody else is real, only you. And some people also want that to happen, because sometimes people are sociopaths, and then they want that because they don't want to live with consequences. Pretty scary stuff. But for a number of reasons, I don't buy into solipsism. Now, this is not quite solipsism, but it's kind of going down the path of solipsism, because you're going to say what somebody else's existence has, very little similarity to your own. But we see, for one thing, in higher states of consciousness, our consciousnesses can kind of blend together, and this is kind of a byproduct of love, right? So if you really, really love your partner or family member, you finish each other's sentences, and you're really, really synchronized to each other, it comes to a certain point where you can really basically experience that person's consciousness. And this is in higher spiritual states of existence that some of us, get to experience. And the really advanced spiritual states, like in certain NDEs, it's like you can go to anyone's consciousness and experience life through their eyes. And again, what we're not seeing is some kind of like massive inconsistency. So you can experience somebody else's consciousness as it's unfolding and manifesting. And so the lines between one person and another person may begin to blur. So it's not so much that each person is an inseparable island that will never be in dimensional contact with anybody else. We can feel other people through the powers of empathy. We can know that they exist and know that they're real. And therefore, number one, we know solipsism is therefore inaccurate because empathy disproves solipsism. But we also know that the world around us is an objective state that is shared by other people. So if you buy the 3 Granny Smith apples, they will be Granny Smith apples. So the person next to you won't be looking at them and thinking of them as Macintosh apples, because then you'd also get evidence of that. They'd say, what a great Macintosh apple. And you'll say, no, these are Granny Smith apples. And be like, oh, those wacky astrophysics. I don't think that happens. I don't think it happens in this world. I don't think it happens in that world. So that's my opinion, but I could be wrong. Tell me what you think in the comments down below and how this can, affect things on a much bigger level. How this relates to this subject and how it relates to life on this planet by comparison. So a couple things for you to think about. In the meantime, if you like this kind of stuff, you can consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com. Join our private classes. Join our group discussions where we talk about these types of things and many other things. And I guess that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. And trying to think what else. We have more guests coming up in the near future. A lot on the way, and thanks for staying in touch and participating in these crazy conversations. Okay, talk to you guys next time.